Hey everyone, I hope you guys are enjoying Monster Hunter in whichever format you're choosing to play it as. And today I'm going to continue the trend that we have gotten recently regarding Monster Hunter Now with the massive wave of leaks and data mines that have pretty much taken place in the game as of the latest patch as we continually make our way to the major December update. If you have been following on my channel, you already know that I covered about 15 or so new monsters, 16 if you actually want, add another one that I ended up covering later in a follow-up video where I was actually able to talk about the addition of 4 brand new weapons making their way into the game. And now we actually ended up getting confirmation through the mines themselves that there is going to be new biomes making their way to this title. Now, as of when they're gonna be added is still up in the air. We don't necessarily know if this is gonna be a slower rollout that they're gonna be doing heading into November. Remember that October, in the beginning of October, we ended up getting some sort of like small kind of like update with some information, but not necessarily a whole full roadmap. We expect one to follow up in November as they eventually make their way to December. So we expect some of the major monster additions and of course some of the weapons which I already spoke about to be part of this December update. Therefore, some of these map and new biomes are most likely also going to be part of the December update. If you're still wondering how all this information is coming about, like I mentioned before, a couple of people have gotten themselves into the game files themselves internally, and MH Dataminer, link in the description below, has pretty much kind of like parsed out the game and pretty much all of the locations that are available there. We know that there's different area types like the forest, the sand, the swamp, and of course the town areas, but also 2 brand new additions are going to be making their way. One of them is volcanic, under the code word volcanic. So essentially a new volcano biome will be making his way into the game. Now, this shouldn't be too much of a surprise since essentially they are following what we have seen before. Forest, sand, and swamp, and the town areas are just some of the areas that we have seen in other Monster Hunter games. Of course, your home base, whatever it is that you start from, and then typical forest area, a sandy area, which we have seen the Diablos event take place. I believe the forest has been where the Pink Rathian event took place, and the Tobi Kadachi. I'm not sure which monster is going to end up getting the swamp. Maybe Kuluyaku regarding the Halloween thing, which I spoke about that as well. We ended up getting some information on the mines regarding the Halloween event, which is going to be happening. Again, link in the description below. All the mines have been kind of like exposed already. And some of the things that are going to be happening for the Christmas event as well. So we expect the volcanic new biome to be added in, probably most likely as part of this Christmas update, but probably it could be after as well. That's the thing, we don't necessarily know. It is just one of those things that is currently up in the air when it comes to the actual timing. However, that is not the only new biome that we're expecting as part of the December update. Most likely, this one is most likely going to be part of the December update, I should say, and that is a quote-unquote snow biome. A new icy version of the biomes is going to be added in. Remember that this has been multiple maps already in Monster Hunter, both in the volcano back in Monster Hunter 2. 3 Ultimate had a different version of it. Of course, Rise and Sunbreak had their own version of the volcano, and is no different with the Tundra back in 2. I believe 4 ended up getting a different version of the Tundra. Of course, World, it was like Iceborne specifically, had a couple of icy versions of the maps themselves. And in typical fashion, of course, Rise followed up as well with the Frozen Isles. So these type of biomes aren't too much of a surprise. They are just kind of like rounding out what we should be able to expect to see. They are direct contrast to each other, though. This is why I do find it interesting that they are adding the volcanic biome. Probably, I'm gonna guess after the snow biome that's going to be dropping in December, because there is going to be a December Christmas event following the Halloween one as well. So we should be expecting something along those lines. But 2 brand new biomes making their way into the game, it just adds more additions. And of course, like I mentioned before, 16 new monsters are going to be added in. We are expecting to make their way maybe up to or even past the December update. So, you know, it's going to be one of those things where, like, some of the monsters that especially were revealed through the mines themselves are icy themed monsters. Some of them are fire monsters. So at the end of the day, it makes total sense that they're going to be adding, you know, a volcanic and a icy snow version of a biome to be able to kind of like house those monsters there within. Now, a couple of smaller updates regarding each one of the biomes is the fact that there has been new assets discovered for fishing spots in the snow biomes themselves. There will be some unique fishing requirements there to be done in the game, specifically for the snow biome. The volcanic one doesn't seem to have any sort of fishing spots. I'm sure it's going to have some mining nodes that are going to be special there. But some of the mines themselves have discovered that there are some fishing spots there that are going to be special, so most likely some craftables are going to be coming through those very specific fishing spots, specifically in the snow biome itself. As to what could be added regarding the mining in the volcanic map as of right now is pretty much up in the air. It's going to be one of those things that we'll just have to wait and see. There are some gatherable spots, of course, in the maps that are already there in the forest, sand, swamp, and city, but at the end of the day, we're just going to have to wait and see what kind of new additions they add to the volcanic one. Like I said, my guess would be some mining related things. This is what we have seen in previous Monster Hunter games, where mining is kind of like a prominent feature, if you will, in the like volcanic area, since of course rock is constantly being crystallized and new minerals are popping up left and right, since the dirt and the ground itself is being churned up from the bottom up. So that is pretty much all the information that we have right now regarding two biomes making their way into the game. Like I said at the top of the video, we have the quote-unquote pseudo roadmap for October that's making its way in through right now. Of course, November, we'd expect another smaller little version of that, a couple of more such species, which I spoke about in that 15 monsters leaks video, which then turned out to be 16 monsters, followed afterwards with Nergigante being added in as another monster that we have seen in the miles already. So it's going to be interesting to see which monsters actually make their way to the November quote-unquote smaller roadmap, and eventually the back end of December should be able to have not just, of course, the snow biome being added in, but a hefty amount of those new monsters. Now, I'm going to be making a follow-up video relatively soon, or maybe that video has been posted up live. It really depends on when they decide to post these videos. But I do want to talk about the implications of Monster Hunter Now and Monster Hunter 6 at the Game Awards. There's been a lot of discussion right now regarding what could potentially happen, and I'm thinking that that's certainly going to be an interesting discussion topic to be had, since we're getting closer to the Game Awards and more information is going to be, of course, be revealed there within regarding Monster Hunter itself. And of course, if any more months or any more clear information pops up regarding Monster Hunter Now, I will be talking about it again. Link in the description below for the 3 separate videos that I've posted previously regarding the mines themselves. There is the 15 monsters, or now turned 16 monsters mined for Monster Hunter Now, the 4 new weapons that are going to be making their way into the game, and of course the Halloween event as well, with some of the information regarding the Christmas event there as well. And now we have some information regarding new maps. I will clarify, there was someone in the comments, interestingly enough, saying that it was clickbait. One of the, I believe it was the 4 weapons video that I put out, they were claiming that it was clickbait, and I'm literally trying to source everything that I talk about. This is why I say link in the description below, because you can click there and it'll take you right back to the place where I'm actually getting the information from, which is actually accurate. Everything they have said so far has been accurate, so I have no reason to doubt the sources which I am talking about. But that's about all the information that I have for you guys today. I'm very excited to see at the end of the day what they try to do with Monster Hunter Now heading into the future. I would like for them to expand some of just the game mechanics at the end of the day. I know everyone's really complaining right now regarding just the drops, just the sheer garbage RNG that the game has right now, which I totally understand. But it's a mobile free-to-play game. You should have expected that right out of the gate. I have seen, of course, and I've talked about this already, regarding people complaining the lack of perhaps just not many new monsters or anything like that, which again, that's going to get sorted out with the addition of 60 more monsters making their way in. But I think the more important thing right now that needs to be addressed is just the raw gameplay not being all that fun, and it gets extremely repetitive once you get to endgame. Of course, people don't necessarily want to get to endgame at this point because it just seems kind of like flawed. It seems unfinished, and it actually is. So it is going to be one of those things to see. We're going to have to wait and see what they're going to want to do regarding some of these adjustments. And for me specifically, just how long are they going to take to actually address some of these issues. If you guys have been paying attention, not that this is a channel that covers Diablo by any means, but I recently got into Diablo 4, and I've been surprised just to see how quickly the developers have started to address some of the original criticisms from the original launch, and they put out a very extensive roadmap for the second season, and just recently went over major details and many enhancements and changes that they did for that game. Now, of course, that's a paid game. That's a $60 game, $70 game, depending on the console you buy it for. But it is one of those things where, like, the developers are very quick to address some of those issues. And Niantic right now has not done any of that when it came to Monster Hunter Now. So we're hopeful that they address some of those criticisms. Again, link in the description below for everything that I'm talking about if you're wondering where this information is coming from. And once again, huge shout out to Algria and MH Datamine for some of these details. If you're brand new to my channel, though, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up. And as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.